Let's return to our earlier story, which is the IEC's update on the voter registration weekend. Over 1 million people have been added to the voters' roll, bringing the total number of eligible voters to 27.4 million. More than 77% of people who registered over the past 2 weekend drives are people under 29. IEC Deputy Chief Electoral Officer Mawethu Mosery joins us for more. Mawethu, thank you so much for your time. This must be a milestone, historic achievement as well for the IEC. What do you make of the numbers of people who came out this weekend to register?
Indeed, Masa and viewers, it's a milestone for South Africa. We've never had a voters' roll reach a figure of 27 million registered voters. In fact, when we first compiled this voters' roll in 1998, we went to an election with just about 18 million. And it's been increasing since then to reach this feat of 27 million. Now, the second issue for us is how active young voters were this last weekend, because almost 80% of those who registered as new voters were young people, and that's encouraging. It means the messaging that came from the Commission, from yourselves as media houses, political parties and other state departments has indeed encouraged and reached the young people and encouraging them to be participants in this democracy of ours.
And just taking a look at this weekend's voter registration drive as well, did the IEC at any of its voter registration stations, I think there were about 23,000 across the country, did you experience any challenges or concerns?
Well, we always expect challenges and difficulties, and we were pleasantly surprised that this particular registration weekend went off very smoothly. And more encouraging was that in communities where there were protests during the first registration weekend, they were all very quiet and very high numbers of those communities going to the registration station. So that was encouraging. On our logistical side, we've done very well, and it gave us a lot of comfort. Our technologies, particularly with the various difficulties of connectivity, it held its ground, and we were able to collect this many 2 million registrations in the 2 days. So we are satisfied with the functioning of voting stations this weekend.
Masa, as well, it was this weekend that the IEC was speaking to us after the first day, after Saturday, and there was a bit of an overview that you were able to give us. And what was said by the representative as well was that it's about 40% of those registrations were comprised of online registrations. And when you speak of the technology tool as well helping for this registration drive, that was also quite a significant number that was raised of the number of people who are making use of that online service that you have.
Indeed, Masa, the online registration platform works very well. For this weekend, we registered 211,000 voters on that platform, and of that 211, 97,000 of them were new registrations, new entrants into the voters' roll. So we do believe that it works very well. But also, if you look at our compatriots outside of the country, most of them who registered during their weekend used the online system to register. So it is effective, it is convenient, and for those who are tech savvy, it is actually a very good platform, and those who have access to connectivity. So we still encourage voters to use this platform until the proclamation is done by the presidency on when the election will take place.
And while you also gave us stats regarding the youth vote, which is quite a big number as well, the IEC also broke it down in terms of gender as well, and it seems that more women were coming forward to register to vote. I mean, it's a slight percentage, you know, more than men, but what did you attribute this to?
Well, somebody in the social science area did indicate that probably women take civic duty more seriously than men. But I suppose it's a theory we still need to study further. But generally, our voters' roll still remains with more women than men. It's sitting at about 55% women. But of interest this particular last weekend is that the percentage of participation on gender is almost equal. There were 49% men active out of the 2 million that we had, to 51% of women. So it was relatively a very close activism for gender in terms of this particular registration weekend, which is encouraging. Probably men are starting to get the message, but of interest is the young men were particularly active this particular registration weekend, Masa.
We are expecting the president to announce that election date, possibly on that State of the Nation address coming up this Thursday. Should he announce that, you know, the date is set for May or August, it's all systems go for the IEC. You're ready to accommodate these never-seen-before numbers.
Certainly, we've been indicating to the country and the nation that we are building up our preparation plan. In fact, we started some 18 months ago to prepare for this election. We also indicated that even some of the materials we require for the voting day, we've started to collect them and receive them in preparation of the election. So if we get a go-ahead with a specific date, it helps us to then finalize the election timetable, which we will publish in the Government Gazette. First, we will close the voters' roll, certify the voters' roll, having allowed for inspection, and then thereafter we'll call on those who want to stand for this election, be it political parties or independent candidates, which is a new phenomenon for this national election. And therefore, we need to spend a bit of time to give them information that qualifies them to contest. After that, we need to come back to the citizens and talk about the 3 ballots and where they make an X and how they navigate. Whether short or very long ballot, we will have to come back and talk about that. Thereafter, we'll be talking special votes, and then the election day will arrive, and then we'll talk results. After results, we'll talk the allocation of seats, and then political commentators can take the space on the kind of government that will be formed after we've allocated the seats.
Well, as things stand, it looks like it will certainly be a long ballot. But thank you so much for your time. That was IEC's representative, Mawethu Mosery, joining us to talk about those election numbers.